Hi everyone, Muneeb here. Excited to be talking to you all and give you a little bit preview of what I think the state of the Stacks project is, where we're heading, what are some of the things that I'm excited about. Let's sort of like dive in. So I think before we sort of like jump into like what's coming up, what is some of the things that I'm excited about. I think it's always great to take a moment to appreciate everything that has happened so far, all the progress that we have already made. I think it's pretty clear, sort of like out in the industry, how Stacks has emerged as sort of like the blue chip Bitcoin L2 project, right? Because it has such a rich history. It was the first ever SEC qualified offering, and then it has sort of like maintained that blue chip status by sort of like always producing high quality work, attracting high quality investors, high quality builders. And I think that has been something that's really standing out and something that we're super proud of. Even though I think there obviously has been a market correction all across, I think some of the actual metrics of usage are pretty strong in terms of TVL, in terms of like capital being deployed in real applications, and that's really exciting to me. Like there's this saying that when I was going through Y Combinator, Paul Graham and the YC people always used to say like build something people want. And the best way to build something people want is build something for yourself, because you at least understand yourself as a user. And I think one of the things that I'm most excited about is that I feel that the product, and by the product I really mean the Stacks chain and the apps built on it, it's something that I truly enjoy using myself. I think that's such a great feeling. Like imagine, obviously when sBTC launched, well, we have Bitcoin now, and you have BTC in your wallet, and it actually moves in seconds with 100% Bitcoin security. As soon as a Bitcoin block comes, the fees are low, the wallet UX is great, and you can actually deploy things into DeFi and use it. So it's like I'm a user myself, right? And I see other people around me, they're actively using things, and it's almost like a joy. And that happened very recently. I think until the Nakamoto upgrade and sBTC launch, this thing wasn't there. So that's something like I'm personally, super excited about. Also, in terms of like we've seen a lot of interest, a lot of new people coming in. Sex was the first project that reached the all-time high March of last year, and we were sort of like the seventh fastest developer ecosystem as indexed by Electric Capital, and sort of like the only Bitcoin project that shows up there. So I think there's a lot to be sort of like proud of, and the things that the ecosystem and core developers have achieved. And most of you are sort of familiar with, the Nakamoto launch. But I want to go over sBTC a little bit more. I think sBTC, one thing that I sort of like really appreciated is that I think the cadence of core development has become much smoother, much more predictable. All the launch for sBTC, they basically went live on time. And I think that's very hard to do with complicated projects. You've seen, a delay in Nakamoto, but I do think like with Adriano showing leadership, like on the core development side, it really feels like it's a much better sort of like machine that's running and actually like consistently making progress and delivering things. And I think that was great. Obviously, the caps filled up pretty quickly. We first did a 1,000 BTC cap, then we did a 3,000 BTC cap. I think the 3,001 was gone within 24 hours. And that was like really amazing to see that there's so much interest. Like, it's like roughly $300 million in capital that came in. And obviously now we are looking at, opening up withdrawals and taking it from there. There are like major institutions that sort of like came in to Stacks. And I felt that went a little under the radar. Like for example, if you take the example of Jump, like Jump is a huge institution in the industry. They heavily sort of like deploy capital in Solana. I would even go to the extent to say that part of the success of Solana is actually people like Jump coming in and really being active users of that chain. And I think Jump doing that with Stacks, coming in and sort of like, deploying capital, because when they go, they also like, become very active participants of the network. It's not like, they just deploy some capital and sort of like forget about it. So for me, like that, things like that, like these institutions coming in and using the product is actually a great sign, right? Like, so you want a lot of Bitcoin capital is actually in the hands of institutions, right? So if you're that institutional chain that's attracting a lot of Bitcoin DeFi activity, I think that's an amazing sign. So what's next, right? Some of the things that I am pretty excited about is more R&D work on improving sBTC. I think we definitely want sBTC to be sort of like the primary Bitcoin asset out there, like even used for payments, right? Like if I think hundreds of millions of people are going to come and they're going to do Bitcoin payments, they're going to deploy capital in DeFi. I think we want that to happen on Stacks, and I think that's a very clear sort of like North Star that we have, and there's like active R&D work happening on sort of like new improvements and versions of sBTC, and we'll share more details about it. But over here, I just want to give like a very sort of like high level overview. Another thing that I'm personally very sort of like intellectually curious about and interested in is, as we look at the next 5 years, 10 years, we want to have very clear sort of like value accrual to STX as well. Like even from a tokenomics and protocol design and protocol revenue perspective. So there are some early work streams that are sort of like happening there right now. There are different ideas of like, for example, is there some sort of a way to allow people to pay sBTC gas fees, and some portion of that gas fees is actually going to protocol revenue, which can be used for various things, for ecosystem development and so on. So these are pretty like high level at this point, but something that I am personally extremely interested in, because I think getting that right, having the right flywheel, the right economic flywheel, whereas more users come in and sort of like use Bitcoin on Stacks, there is a built-in mechanism for value accrual and network growth. I think that's something that's going to be super interesting, and obviously we'll share more details as the working groups make more progress towards it. But I know the time is short. There is so much going on in the ecosystem, but I would just take a pause and look at the opportunity ahead of us. Bitcoin has clearly shown dominance, in the recent years. All the institutional capital is really going to Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance remains extremely high, and people are now sort of like questioning that, why would they go to like, anything else other than Bitcoin? And I think Stacks is in a very unique position where it is the largest project, sort of like clear, sort of like leader, and we have this amazing opportunity where we can go and show leadership and sort of like build whatever else is necessary. It might be like, more better designs of sBTC, or, better sort of like, value accrual mechanisms on the protocol side, whatever else is needed, but really sort of like bring like, hundreds of millions of users and be the top sort of like, Bitcoin project that brings BTC everywhere. And I think that's an opportunity that I'm extremely passionate about, extremely excited about, and looking forward to working on it in 2025. Thanks, everyone.